of all trees, all grass, then you build your house, and then you have pavers, and then you're like...
And there's no green.
And that is how a rich man lives. A rich man? Even our great judges knew that they couldn't sleep on hilltops. They had issues of deceiving themselves. But all these were aimed to scare people.
Right.
Not to tamper. But these days, you people that have money,
right, as you can see on the screen, those were preparations as of yesterday in Chitebi SS. But let me cross over to Jerome Paul Sonko for this morning and see how he's faring. How has the week been for him? By Tuesday, he usually tells us it's a good week. Good morning, Sonko.
Good morning to you. I've been looking at the students there of Chitebi, preparing for the presidential visit. I have, it has actually brought back some memories. Back in school when
Which club were you in, Sonko?
A visitor. I was in the Patriotism Club. I happened to be in the Interact Club, but I entered the Interact Club
you are the guys.
Late in the... No, that was late. I actually entered late in my secondary years. I didn't take it that serious, but I just wanted to know what happens in the Interact Club. Because we used to hear a lot of stories late in the dormitories, and we were like, wow.
I don't know how true those stories were, though, because I was part of Interact, and I vied for Miss Interact at some point in the school. I didn't get it, but I got the Miss of the school.
So,
but it was...
But Interact was one of the most entertaining clubs in there. But looking at the students doing the, I think most of those belong to the Patriotism Club because they have to do some chaka and the like. I can only imagine the tension and pressure that the administration...
When the president is visiting.
Of Chitebi is going through. I think they're all geared up. It's going to be a memorable moment for this particular school, by the way. And everybody would wish to have a picture moment. If you're a student at such an age and you get that that picture moment and you belong to such a club, well, it's a huge one and you can keep it for a lifetime. But nonetheless, good morning, team, and good morning, dear viewer. You've asked how the week has been. The week was okay. Monday wasn't a good one because I felt a little bit of sickness that almost wanted to shake me down.
Let me sound like Olive.
Hopefully,
Let me sound like Olive. You are feeling a little bit under the weather.
Under the weather. But now I'm on top of it or ahead of it. And here I am for a Friday. Looking back at the week and how it has actually gone, I think my most standout report was the same, accident in Kumba. Reason being, yesterday I almost saw a familiar incident around Nambole, but this particular one was rather a different one. A taxi was trying to cross over to move to the petrol station or fuel station. Then a similar truck, but this was rather a different one, the ones we normally used to call Magulu Kumi back in the day. A huge white truck carrying sand almost came and knocked the taxi, and many of the passengers within the taxi was seen shouting at the driver, telling him, can you imagine, with all the videos trending of the just recent accident in Kumba, you're still placing your taxi right in front of this truck. So when you look at that, many Ugandans are really scared for their lives, especially on the road. And when it comes to such trucks, and I think these truck owners really need to do a further, check-up on their vehicles to see whether they are fit to be on the road. And many of the vehicles in Uganda that we do have currently are not fit to be on the road, and it continues to put many of the road users at risk. Because when you look at that incident or that accident at the Nkumba traffic lights, you get to realize that the driver who passed on was not in any moment having, a bad day at office, or let's say while driving, because it was the traffic lights. He had stopped waiting for the green lights to actually flag him off, and then unfortunately someone in his car stops to brake and ends up losing his life. But also yesterday, our neighbors here, that is in Kenya, received sad news because Kenya's military chief, General Francis Ogola, was among those who crashed or who passed on in that crash And of course, that aircraft, which had been on a visit to troops deployed in northwest Kenya to combat endemic cattle rustling, came down just minutes after leaving Cheptuloi Boys Secondary School in West Pokot County. That is according to the chief in command of the Kenyan forces, that is now the president of Kenya, William Ruto. The one who passed on, that is General Francis Ogola, the Kenya's military chief. The only two soldiers survived out of this crash amongst the others that passed on. And of course, you get to realize that it's not a good day for the Kenyans. And the President, William Ruto, also announced a 3 days of mourning for these fallen soldiers. And we will definitely stand in the spirit of prayer for the people of Kenya and for those who lost their loved ones in that plane crash. May their souls continue to rest in eternal peace.
Indeed, may their souls rest in peace. And the unfortunate bit, I think they could have been saved or something could have come up, but at a point the helicopter caught fire, and I think that was the last nail in the coffin. But away from that, we do have our local stories, and Robert will be giving us some of those as we await for international and the press review in a few minutes as well.
Well, let's begin with His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who officiated at the opening of new offices for some courts in Uganda. Now, President Yoweri Museveni tasked Ugandans to prioritize on issues that foster value addition rather than handle multiple issues with no results. Museveni said this is doing so much as seen Uganda entering the lower middle income status. This was during the commissioning of the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal buildings in Kampala. For over 57 years, the judiciary has been struggling to have a home for the applicant court and the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. In 1999, the idea of constructing these courts was unveiled. However, it remained shelved until 2014, when it was approved by the judiciary top management and construction kicked off in 2019. 5 years later, the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal buildings were commissioned on a budget of 110 billion shillings with an aim of bringing services closer to people, as the Permanent Secretary to the Judiciary, Pius Bigirimana, noted. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni commissioned these buildings at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala, where officials from the executive, judiciary and parliament plus development partners were in attendance. Museveni commended the judiciary on this milestone, attributing it to patience and planning by the NRM government. Still on the local scene, the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, she is optimistic and confident that the country has the capacity to eliminate malaria by 2030 through numerous interventions put in place by scientists in the country. Alupo revealed that government has included malaria as a cross-cutting issue, and the budget call circular for 2024-2025. She stressed the need for special budget for malaria if it is to be eradicated by 2030. Uganda continues to grapple with the burden of malaria epidemic despite all interventions put in place. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Health has organized a scientific conference on malaria to forge a way of how we can kick and track malaria diseases. Vice President officiated at the scientific meeting on malaria and reassured scientists and the general public that government is committed to the fight against malaria by adjusting the budget. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, called for a change and a new approach in tracking malaria in the country, since there is no single bullet that can wipe out malaria. Now moving to matters of the census. The Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukiza, has warned anybody planning to sabotage the upcoming national population and housing census. He said politicians or religious leaders who discourage people from participating will face the courts of law. Dr. Mukiza made the remarks while meeting the religious leaders across the country at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala. It was a heated decision between the religious leaders and Uganda Bureau of Statistics at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala over the role of religious leaders in the forthcoming national population and housing census. During the meeting, a section of born-again faith criticized WUBOS for not considering them as a religion. All their questions for census and nature of questions asked when it comes to religion. The same issues were also raised by the Baptist Union of Uganda, who complimented of being eliminated from the questionnaire as a religion. However, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris, warned anybody planning to sabotage the upcoming census that they will face the courts of law. The chairman for Interreligious Council of Uganda, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Kazimba, urged fellow leaders to embrace census and mobilize the populace to participate. And finally, from the local scene, the Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, has urged traders to calm down, proposing that after meeting the President on Friday, there is hope that a solution will be found on issues of implementation of the IFRIS system. While meeting a combined committee, one of the finance and that of the traders leadership and the Ministry from Trade, Kasaija said issues like IFRIS system are matters of policy and will require processes of law. The Committee of Finance and that of Trade engaged in a long meeting and later all agreed that the Traders Association on issues of electronic physical receipting and invoicing as ruled by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Amongi, when she referred the matter to these committees on 9th April. The meeting was, however, suspended as members refused to proceed with the Minister for Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija. The committee members argued to first give representatives of traders an opportunity to present their petition, but MPs guided to have their concerns presented at once. The leadership of the United Arcades Traders Entrepreneurs Association suggested that URA takes back the system for better packaging, while that one of Kasita that the system to be implemented from factories rather than at the traders' shops.
Well, that's it for our local stories. Let's cross over to the international scene, and we start off with India, which is expected to start its voting process today in what we call the world's largest election, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks a historic third term in office on the backdrop of growth, welfare, his personal popularity, and Hindu nationalism. The vote pits Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party against an alliance of 24 opposition parties, which is challenging him with promises of increased affirmative action, more handouts, and what they say is the need to save democratic institutions from Modi's dictatorial rule. The gigantic exercise, involving almost 1 billion voters, will be spread over 7 phases across the world's most populous country at the peak of summer. It ends on 1st June and votes will be counted on June 4th. On Friday, in the largest of the 7 phases, 166 million voters in 102 constituencies across 21 states and territories will vote, including in Tamil Nadu in the south, Arunachal Pradesh on the Himalayan frontier with China, and the most populous Uttar Pradesh in the north. Moving on, a full 12-person jury has been sworn in for ex-U.S. President Donald Trump's historic criminal trial in New York City. We have our jury. Justice Juan Merchan declared after 7 men and 5 women were selected for the panel 2 jurors had to be excused earlier. Some thought jury selection might take weeks, but things moved quickly after Mr. Trump's team ran out of challenges. The court could hear opening arguments as soon as Monday. The trial, the first ever in which a former U.S. president is the defendant, stems from a harsh money payment to a porn star. Stormy Daniels was given $130,000 before the 2016 election to buy her silence about an affair she claims she had with Mr. Trump. Mr. Trump has pleaded not guilty to 34 counts of falsifying business records brought by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, a Democrat. As Mr. Trump left court on Thursday evening, he showed dozens of printed media articles criticizing the charges, which he said were political. Now back to Africa. Kenya's military chief, General Francis Omondi Ogolla, has died after a military helicopter crashed in the west of the country, the president said. Ogolla, Kenya's highest-ranking military officer, was in the helicopter alongside 11 other military personnel. Only 2 people survived. In a news conference, President William Ruto said it was a moment of great sadness for the country. He had earlier convened an urgent Security Council meeting. The crash happened at 14 hours, Mr. Ruto said. The Kenyan Air Force has dispatched an air investigation team to establish the cause. The helicopter came down in Elgeyo Marakwet County, some 400 kilometers northwest of the capital, Nairobi, shortly after takeoff, Mr. Ruto added. Ogolla was appointed in April of last year after serving as the commander of the Air Forces and deputy of Defense Forces. And lastly, matters climate. In late March and early April, as Ramadan was coming to a close, a powerful heatwave descended on West Africa. A new report says it would not have occurred without human-caused climate change. The day and nighttime temperature soared above 40 degrees Celsius in many countries between March 31st and April 4th. The heatwave in Mali and Burkina Faso was so severe that it was equated to a once-in-200-year event, according to a report on the Sahel region by World Weather Attribution, a UK-based group. The World Weather Attribution's report, produced by a team of international scientists, concluded the temperatures would not have been reached if industry had not warmed the planet by burning fossil fuels and other activities. We find that a 5-day heat wave of this intensity would not have been possible, Claire Burns, a WWA statistician and research associate at Imperial College London, said in an online briefing. And that leads us to the end of our international news. Let's cross over and check what is happening or what is making headlines in the press review with Jerome Paul.
Well, with the press review, the New Vision has an interesting headline because government is set to regulate churches and mosques, and surprisingly, religious leaders are protesting this proposed policy. That is according to what the New Vision is highlighting. President Museveni commissions twin court buildings, a pictorial of the president yesterday after commissioning the twin court buildings that are to save government $6 billion annually in terms of rent. Then dead lawyer controversy mars the requiem mass of the dead. Then also Bunyoro Kitara Diocese Bishop-elect lists priorities as General Muhoozi Kainerugaba hosts Rwanda Chief of Staff. That and more is with the New Vision. Now we look at the Daily Monitors. The Daily Monitor is highlighting Nabanja's bodyguard goes missing in the United States. Investigations are underway into why and how Emmanuel Atwine, who accompanied the Premier, who was in New York to represent President Museveni at the United Nations high-level debate, melted away and detected. Then, Kenyan Army Chief General Francis Ogolla dies in chopper crash from 1962 to 2024. Read about the life of Francis Ogolla. Now, in the other news, NIRA now to conduct civil marriages. Interesting. Then, new rules for mobile money transactions are in the making. read about that in the Daily Monitor. For the job seekers, you can find some life-changing opportunities for you with some highlighted companies as well. Now we cross the borders to our neighbors in Kenya who are mourning as there is a huge portrait at the front page of the Daily Nation saying final salute, General Francis Ogola, 1962 to 2024. Tragedy. President William Ruto declares 3 days of national mourning after Chief of Defense Forces Francis Ogola dies in a helicopter crash that also claimed the lives of 9 others. Then you can read about the 9 others that passed on after the helicopter crash. Then health crisis, progress made in talks to end strike as a serialization, my hunt for man accused of plotting coup against President Arap Moi. Read about that in the Daily Nation. Now, lastly, from our press review is the Citizen newspaper. Kenya Defense Chief killed in helicopter crash. Tanzania at 60. Progress, economic prospects bullish as Tanzania set to clock 60 years since independence. Now revealed 3-year plan to boost women CEO numbers in today's Citizen. Then local authorities on the spot over fee charging schools as Samia bags 4th honorary doctorate from the Turkish university. That from a prestigious Turkish university. Which university is that? You can read more and find out with today's Citizen. Now, the central bank introduces guidelines for financial educators in Tanzania. That is what our press review is entailing this Friday.
Well, thank you, Sonko, for taking us through the press review. Now, we're going to be taking a very short break. The song of the day is Brave by Sarah Bareilles. Good morning. I don't know if I've pronounced the name.
Then you build your house, and then you have pavers, and then you're like...
And there's no green
And that
in your
is how a
compound.
rich man lives. A rich man? Even our great judges knew that they couldn't sleep on hilltops. They had issues of deceiving themselves. But all of these were aimed to scare people,
Right, right.
not to tamper. But these days, you people that have money,
Right, as you can see on the screen, those were preparations as of yesterday in Chitebi SS. But let me cross over to Jerome Paul Sonko for this morning and see how he's faring. How has the week been for him? By Tuesday, he usually tells us it's a good week. Good morning, Sonko.
Good morning to you. I've been looking at the students there of Chitebi preparing for the presidential visit. I have, it has actually brought back some memories. Back in school when we
Which club
expected,
were you in, Sonko?
A visitor. I was in the Patriotism Club. I happened to be in the Interact Club, but I entered the Interact Club.
You are the guys.
Late in the, no, that was late. I actually ended late in my secondary years. I didn't take it that serious, but I just wanted to know what happens in the Interact Club. Because we used to hear a lot of stories late in the dormitories, and we were like, wow.
I don't know how true those stories were, though, because I was part of Interact, and I vied for Miss Interact at some point in the school.
Okay.
I didn't get it, but I got the Miss of the school.
So,
But it was...
But Interact was one of the most entertaining clubs in there. But looking at the students doing the, I think most of those belong to the Patriotism Club because they have to do some mchaka and the like. I can only imagine the tension and pressure that the administration
when the president is visiting
of Chitebi is going through. I think they're all geared up. It's going to be a memorable moment for this particular school, by the way. And everybody would wish to have a picture moment if you're a student at such an age and you get that that picture moment and you belong to such a club. Well, it's a huge one and you can keep it for a lifetime. But nonetheless, good morning team and good morning dear viewer. You've asked how the week has been. The week was okay. Monday wasn't a good one because I felt a little bit of sickness that almost wanted to shake me down.
Let me sound like
but
Olive.
Hopefully,
Let me sound like Olive. You are feeling a little bit under the weather.
Under the weather. But now I'm on top of it or ahead of it. And here I am for a Friday. Looking back at the week and how it has actually gone, I think my most standout report was the same, accident in Kumba Reason being, yesterday I almost saw a familiar incident around Nambole, but this particular one was rather a different one. A taxi was trying to cross over to move to the petrol station or fuel station. Then a similar truck, but this was rather a different one, the ones we normally used to call Magulu Kumi back in the day. A huge white truck carrying sand almost came and knocked the taxi, and many of the passengers within the taxi was seen shouting at the driver, telling him, can you imagine, with all the videos trending of the just recent accident in Kumba, you're still placing your taxi right in front of this truck. So when you look at that, many Ugandans are really scared for their lives, especially on the road, and when it comes to such trucks. And I think these truck owners really need to do a further, check up on their vehicles to see whether they are fit to be on the road. And many of the vehicles in Uganda that we do have currently are not fit to be on the road, and it continues to put many of the road users at risk, because when you look at that incident or that accident at the Nkumba traffic lights, you get to realize that the driver who passed on was not in any moment having, a bad day at office, or let's say while driving, because it was the traffic lights. He had stopped waiting for the green lights to actually flag him off, and then unfortunately someone in his car stops to brake and ends up losing his life. But also yesterday, our neighbors here, that is in Kenya, received sad news, because Kenya's military chief, General Francis Ogola, was among those who crashed or who passed on in that crash. And of course that aircraft, which had been on a visit to troops deployed in northwest Kenya to combat endemic cattle rustling, came down just minutes after leaving Cheptuloi Boys Secondary School in West Pokot County. That is according to the chief in command of the Kenyan forces, that is now the president of Kenya, William Ruto. The one who passed on, that is General Francis Ogola, the Kenya's military chief. The only two soldiers survived out of this crash amongst the others that passed on. And of course, you get to realize that it's not a good day for the Kenyans. And the President, William Ruto, also announced 3 days of mourning for these fallen soldiers. And we will definitely stand in the spirit of prayer for the people of Kenya and for those who lost their loved ones in that plane crash. May their souls continue to rest in eternal peace.
Indeed, may their souls rest in peace. And the unfortunate bit, I think they could have been saved or something could have come up, but at a point the helicopter caught fire, and I think that was the last nail in the coffin. But away from that, we do have our local stories, and Robert will be giving us some of those. As living by yourself, or some tend to think that the closest person that could hurt you could be the person right next to you, and others seem to say we are living in a cruel world now, justifiable by some of the events we have seen over time, and that holds some water. But the question also would be, can you live alone independently? Probably not. And the question to you would be, do you need your neighbor? The other question would be, how do you relate with your neighbor at home where you stay? When was the last time you saw your neighbor, for example? And when was the last time you had just a chit chat with them? When was the last time you found out how they are doing? Do you even know their name? Do you know what they do? Some of the questions that very many people cannot answer at the moment, especially in this generation of ours. People wake up in the morning, they have long schedules, long days. Some of us leave home at, say, 5 in the morning or 4:30 in the morning. And by the time you go back still, you're going back at around 10, 11, sometimes even later than that. And you don't get a chance to interact with your neighbors. But should you be more deliberate to have a conversation with your neighbor or to know your neighbor? That is the question, and that is the kind of conversation we're having this morning. And welcome aboard if you're just joining us. You are in for a great conversation, and we're looking forward to hearing from you as well. We want to know, we want to pick your mind. We want to know what you think, of what importance is it for me to know my neighbor and, get to even have conversations with them. What if we do not, people say, what if we do not connect? I think, Sonko, this statement makes some sense. What if we do not connect? What if I find them annoying and stuff like that? And that is why we are here, to have this conversation. So please, do let us know what you think. You can go to our social media, that is on the X app, throw your comment down there. But also, we have a WhatsApp number that I'll be reading for you in a few minutes, and you can be able to share your views on the very same. Of course, I'm not alone on the team. I am with JP Live, or Jerome Paul Sonko. I am also with Uncle Bob, and with whom we are going to be having this conversation for the next 30 or so minutes. So please, early enough, send in your comments so that we can be able to interact with them. Let me start with you, Sonko. We live in an era where very many of us tend to say we live in a cruel world. You never know what your neighbor can do or what the person next to you can do. And my question is, do you know your neighbors?
Yes, I do. And I've come to realize it's very important to do so. I do not know them so much as such, but I do know at least a few things about them, which includes a name or two, maybe the name to their children, simply because we are living in the same fence. It's more like we are in the same estate of a sort. If I'm to put it in that way. And if at all I need any emergency, or if at all I'm, having any problem, they are the very first persons who will get to identify it. Unless it's a personal problem that is internal or something that only concerns me. But a problem that is visible, for let's say an accident occurs around the same area, the very first person they will have to contact, or if my landlord is looking for me, or if someone is looking for me, at the end of the day, they're going to first ask the neighbor. And the reason as to why I've got to, understand these neighbors is because you do realize that either way, we need one another. It may not be for financial matters, but at times there are occurrences in life that need you to at least have those people close to you. They may not be close in regards to, I don't know the right word to even use, but they can be people you can look at as a confidant of a sort, that in the house, if you have issues with let's say with the house, you have issues with the neighborhood, the entire neighborhood, this is the person you can sit down and discuss how to go about with this new vicinity that both of you, or the three of you, or the four of you are in. So to me, I do have relations with my neighbors simply because I feel it is important to build and establish such relationships, because you never know how the world can turn in one way or the other.
But then again, yes, it is true. We never know how the world can, can flip at any one moment. But think about it like this: we've seen neighborhoods where you're waking up, for example, very early in the morning, and your schedule cannot allow you to even meet your neighbor. You work probably Monday to Friday, or even Monday to Monday. I know people who work Monday to Monday. You're leaving home at 5 in the morning, and you're coming back at 10, 11. Should I be going to the neighbor's door to knock and be like, "Hi, by the way, I am there"? I mean, you don't know their schedule and all. But let me come to you, Robert, and ask you. We've seen this trend of people don't know each other in a gate or in an estate. I think that most they will do is wave at each other. They know that car so-and-so drives, but they don't know the name. Or if they know the name, they don't know anything else aside from that. And why do we have such a scenario? Yet back then, on the village, for example, let me take you now down really to the village. You would know that this particular village has this number of people. So-and-so lives here. After this one's home, it's the other one's home. You knew them by head. You could literally stand and say, if it's on a hill, you will point, this is Robert's home, Chantal's home, Sonko's home. You would know, you would see, you would tell. But at the moment, we do not, yet we're even closer than those people were in those different areas. What do you think could be the cause of such a trend?
Well, first, I want to believe it's a choice we've made.
Okay.
It's just a choice we've made to do life that way. And it's very unfortunate. Then also, there are certain things that have cropped up that make us live that way. and feel comfortable. For example, there is, I don't want to call them people from the corporate world, but there's a certain class of people, either they're from the business community, but they feel they have gotten some average earners, I must say. Now that class is so problematic because they trust in technology, they trust in their wealth, they trust in various mechanisms of avoiding people, but having substitutes to that. Now, previously, these things were not there. What am I trying to say? Previously, a person building a fence around your home, I don't know, but in my village, people would see it like he wants to exclude us. You know?
Yes. They will even say, let's see who will come to bury for you when you lose a loved
having
one.
a gate. You know?
She's
like,
looking us out.
Yeah, even if you had money, you'd either make a fence of these trees usually used for Christmas. The name is just moving away. But you have something, but someone can easily see. Even if you wanted a gate, you don't have the nature that we have today, you know. Either it is a bit transparent, something like that. Because people knew that in case of anything, I'll need my neighbor to come and help me. Today you have to build your fence, then put up electric wires and all this, because you're like, we trust in what we've been able to have.
Right.
The person will tell you, security, I have a security company guarding my home. I have my German Shepherds. Even I have an alarm system. It's connected on my phone. I can open my gate. They'll give you all excuses. I have contacts within police. Commissioner so is my friend. So when you want to talk about security and you're telling him, supposing something happens to you, he'll tell you, no, I have this insurance company, I even have an ambulance. So today there are certain things that have substituted, that have acted as a substitute to neighbors, to people. So that is why that class I'm talking about may see no value in getting to know where does my neighbor work. Because he will say, well, how am I concerned of the job he does? Assuming, what's my neighbor's name, so what? If I know his name, I mean, does it pay, if someone's rent, does it pay my rent, take school fees? Then, in case of anything, someone will ask, now which anything?
You know, I mean, as a society,
We've put in place systems that anything I can run to rather than human beings. So that is why we are saying, and to make matters worse, of course, even today, the way we live our lives, like Chantal talked about being very, very busy, that even the leisure, those days was community leisure.
Yes.
You know, community leisure. That now, today, a person, Sonko stays in an area, but maybe he hangs out in Kololo. So there is no reason, even other issues like burial, a person would be buried in that very community. So if someone told them who would bury you, who will come to see you through, today Chirabo stays in Machindye, but he's buried maybe in Masaka. So even if I don't know you, Chantal, because you may not even come to bury me, we are very different. I go out different. So life has changed so much. Some, even they stay in that community, but they don't go to that area church.
No, you see, I think the issue has been many of the people today trying to switch off socially when it comes to, you know, social gatherings and everything. People today feel a little more comfortable dealing with human beings they know of or they've grown up with. Because when you look at incidents, I've had so many times when you have a colleague you're discussing with and someone says, do you know that the other person, or maybe a celebrity or something, someone will come out and tell you, do you know that the other person is my neighbor? And I'm like, are you neighbors? How come they don't know who you are? Or how come they don't, it's like you...
They can't recognize you.
They can't recognize you. And then the person will tell you, no, I just enter inside my house after work, move in, I don't greet anyone. And I feel like I'm stressing, I will be stressing everybody.
Do you know
so
why he
you
does
can
that?
easily see...
Because they are substitutes
Oh,
that have
exactly.
come along.
No, that is okay. Even back in the time, there was a substitute of you being in bed, because there are people who are more comfortable being indoor all day.
So
But to me, I feel today things have only changed with how people relate. And it goes back to some of the lessons they've experienced while growing up.
Yeah, leads me to...
You know, while growing up, you might have a neighbor and you've seen, or maybe from your, from your childhood memories, you would see how your neighbors had issues here and there. At times it would even be your own family, that you see your mother having issues with, let's say, a neighbor. And then those issues from being friends to being enemies, sworn enemies at the end of the day. And the funny part about African, enmity is that once you're sharing together today, tomorrow once there is a conflict or a misunderstanding, the entire locality or village may have to know about how the both of you were so good, and then you'll start sharing every secret that you were sharing as neighbors. So in the long run, people decided that maybe, if I go in a new area, let's say if I stay in Kira and I happen to relocate to Boyogerere, what happens is if I reach Boyogerere, I'll only keep to myself. Because I don't know who this person is, I don't know what their motive is, so I would rather just stay in my own space and leave the neighbor to do their own things. So I think it also goes back to the past experiences with other neighbors and the like. Because there are actually other people who have actually dealt with neighbors who are thieves.
Yes. Robert was talking about the substitutes that we have, because back then the reason as why people stayed in touch, one was because we did things collectively. The security of the village was on us as a collective.
Yes.
The security of our children, of our crops, of our farms was on us collectively. So if I find someone else in your farm, they will know that Robert has seen me, and they're going to tell Sonko that I was in their farm. So there was that kind of protection. But now the experiences have changed. A case in point, we've had stories and reports where your neighbor comes, can I please have some salt, for example? But when they enter your house, they're starting to see, what do you have? Then they know your schedule. They know that you leave at 5 in the morning and return at 10. So between, even if it's just 6:30 in the morning when the rest of the neighbors are sleeping, they can take something from your house and nobody will get notice, because they will take it and go back to their house. Or they'll plan with any other person to come and break into your house because they know you're not around. Yeah, so that could be one or some of the reasons as to why people have decided to withdraw from the neighbors. However, we all agree that this has an effect on us. Much as we are trying to protect our children, because neighbors have raped kids, have defiled kids, neighbors have introduced drugs to children, a lot of vices have been seen as picked from neighbors. One moment your child, who is a well-behaved child, goes to play with the neighbor, and the next time they're coming back to talk to you, they're shouting at you. When did my child start shouting or barking at me, actually? You get it? And then you're asking yourself, where did they get this from? Before you know it, you realize the neighbor's son even slaps the mother. And you don't want your child to come with such vices into the house. So now that makes people even more guarded and more protective of themselves when it comes to how they relate with neighbors. However, in my own opinion, we've taken it really far. And let's look at some of the effects of us not relating with our neighbors properly. What could be some of those effects that we have seen over the years?
Well, when you're coming, did you drive your Subaru this morning? Just asking.
No, I didn't.
Okay, did you drive a car?
Okay, yes.
Now, this very week, we saw someone in a car losing a life, not because it's their mistake. Maybe if someone was on foot, you never know. Maybe could have.
Yes.
Took off. Now, the fact that cars kill people is not an excuse that you are going to walk on foot. Because even one who has died in a car accident is put in another, body is put in another car
to transport
them
to the hospital or mortuary.
To the hospital or mortuary. Now, this means that much as there are issues when you cooperate, when you associate with the neighbors, we cannot go away from that simply because of the challenges that come there with. You said we focus or we look at some of the dangers. Now, today we are in a world of terrorism. And it is very unfortunate that most of the times where we have seen terror cells being broken, the neighbors are not aware that amidst them was a very dangerous person who could kill them in huge numbers if he chose to, simply because they have not bothered to know of their neighbors. We've seen people in this day and age die in a house. Can you imagine? Then it's a smell that lets the neighbors know
that maybe there is something wrong.
That maybe there's something in this house. Then the police director of fire and rescue services come, they cut the burglar proofs, and someone is dead.
Even these bomb incidents in Kampala, where most of the neighbors are asked by the police, and then you find a neighbor saying,
yeah, that's what I just
neighbor coming in a few or 3 weeks
you know, they don't have this dangerous character amidst them. So, we've seen people. That's why for me I'm a bad neighbor. Because once you're a neighbor to me, I'll do thorough investigations about you. Because I must know who is next. I must know who this person staying next to me is, what they do, how they live their life. I may even investigate to know where they came from before coming to this particular place. Because when you talk about a neighbor who could know your program and be a thief, well, it's rather they know, and as I associate them, I associate with them, maybe I'll hear their talk. Maybe I'll see certain things in his house and I'm like, but really, this is not a very good person, you know? Maybe I also get to know that this person during the night goes away, then comes back at a particular time. So, one, neighborhood watch. I think let me use this term. Neighborhood watch helps you to be safe. The more you're close to this person, because you know who they are, what they do, and if there is anything fishy, you smell a rat, then you can report to the authorities and save a life. Two, for health purposes. Health purposes. I know of a person who parked at his gate, who was hypertensive. His neighbor was passing by. But because they don't see eye to eye, or there's that class, we are all in these estates. You know that estate life, you know? I drive, I'm number 104, your gate is 006, so your car is parked. The neighbor passed as usual, yet this person was struggling for life. If they were close, he would have hooted, said, hello, how are you, how was your day? Then they continue. Only after some time, for them to see an ambulance and police, guess who saw this gentleman? A border rider who had just brought someone to the next gate. But this guy kept on saying, Moyesekao, have passed. And people were like, but really, how could you? I said, but you see, I drive my car, he drives his car. For health purposes, for security purposes, knowing your neighbor, neighborhood watch. Then the children, yes, you've talked about those funny habits. But I want to tell you, it is these children that even you get to know certain habits of your child. Because when the child mingles, when they're playing home, you know that, why are they all ever coming, reporting to me that son has beaten me? My child, maybe there is a temper I should work on.
True.
Maybe there is this I should work on. And also, you know how best to tell your children, those are bad words, don't say them, this is that. So all around, there are many advantages in you having a good relationship with your neighbor than the disadvantages are. So we are not going to give up boarding planes because our neighbors have lost someone. We shall still use these planes.
So
we are going to use vehicles.
Using the same analogy, for example, you can't refuse to sleep because you're fearing to get nightmares. So using the same analogy of the same car that you're driving could be the same car that overturns and kills you or damages you. How do we now protect ourselves from the consequences that come with dealing with the neighbors, because we can't avoid it?
True. You see, Chantal, to me, I think we need to have boundaries as such. It's more like when you're at work. In most cases, in workplaces, not all your work colleagues or your work colleagues are not supposed to know everything about you. Because first of all, there's supposed to be a boundary where boundaries have to be drawn. That there is always an in-house joke, let's say a few things that your work colleagues or workmates can get to know about you, and things that you keep to yourself.
Right.
And that is why in most cases people will tell you your workmate is not your friend. Or this particular person should be maybe an acquaintance or
Normalize colleague, normalize acquaintance.
Exactly. So when you look at that, I think when it comes to our neighbors back home, we also need to create these boundaries. That you are not enemies of a sort, but you are not inviting them wallowly into your life. Yes, to get more comfortable. Whereby your neighbor will just come into your house, sit, start serving themselves breakfast or start serving themselves lunch simply because you're birthdays or your neighbors and the like. This is where things will start coming in and your neighbor starts asking for a loan from you. The next thing you will hear, he has already relocated to some other place. Or you will hear your neighbor is coming in every other day into your house. After a few months, a few things inside your house start missing. And there's no way you're going to confront them because it will, again, lead into some other, disagreement here and there, and then conflicts, arise. So I think the first thing is to create some boundaries. It's more like Chirabo and I are neighbors. I'll just come in the morning and say, oh, if we happen to, to move, it's like, hi, how are you? How is life? Simple. Or maybe if I'm just new to the area, I'll just introduce myself. Hi, Chirabo, my name is Sonko, and I've just moved in here. I hope this place is okay. You leave. It's more like you're greeting one another, because in the long run, you will realize there is a way you can help one another or you can assist one another. At times, you will need to, let's say, move out for just close to 5 minutes. I've seen many people who actually even leave their house keys with their neighbors. Yes. At times, especially if a neighbor is a stay-home kind of person, and then you feel like you don't want to move with your house keys because they might actually get lost. So what you do is you tell your neighbor to keep for you. But this goes back to how you've actually built relations with your neighbor. So I feel you create boundaries which are really, maybe the best word to use is professional boundaries, even at home. Why? Because you want to create this kind of atmosphere that your neighbor should know that the other person is just a neighbor. So other people actually save their neighbor's numbers as neighbor 1, neighbor 2,
house 3,
house 3, something like that, because he or she knows I will call this neighbor 3 to help me with this, or to assist me with this. Or I know this neighbor, maybe this neighbor is a doctor. This neighbor can actually bail me out in one way or the other when I have some health issue. So all of that. So creating that professional bit of it, professional relationship with your neighbor is very important. And then the boundaries, very important, because your neighbor shouldn't know what is happening in your personal life, or let's say what is happening home. I've seen many neighbors, coming up to sit and talk about their personal life journey. Someone talking about how, let's say, my mother is having these issues at home. Certain things you don't share with your neighbors, because it's more like your easiest enemy, your first enemy has got to be your closest person. So if you give your neighbor the chance to know you more, the chances are anything can happen again. They may be the most holy people you know, but at the end of the day, they can switch on you in a moment.
Right, and it's at this time that we'd like to call in our viewer to share their opinion. The number is 0709602592. You can get to WhatsApp us, or even send a direct message and let us know what you think. How do you relate with your neighbor? Why should you relate with your neighbor? And of what importance? But also you can tell us why you think that the relations between neighbors or among neighbors are not as good as it used to be back then. The chairman knew you, your neighbor knew you, but at the moment, it's the most we're going to do is hoot for each other and just move without trying to get to know these people. Yet you could be living with a neighbor and if they are married, the wife is or the husband is experiencing domestic violence, and you could have saved the day, and this person even eventually dies. Also, anything is possible. It could be a robbery, it could be domestic violence, it could be bad habits, it could be a very dangerous person. Yes, it could be a very dangerous person in your neighborhood. So there are very many reasons as to why we still need to keep some of those basics that we've had over the years, like making sure that we know who our neighbors are. Now, Sonko, you've given us how do we protect ourselves, or how do we manage, actually, and Robert, how do we manage to one, be in good terms with our neighbors, and then also maintain a certain level-headed kind of relationship that does not infringe on our privacy, infringe on our on how much we relate with them, depending on how we want to. There is this thing of having WhatsApp groups. Do you think these WhatsApp groups are effective when it comes to sorting that out as a measure that people can employ?
No. I think as a person who mutes WhatsApp groups of late, because there are so many, so I'm only left with work WhatsApp groups, and maybe keep a few for school. Then I mute other conversations because there are so many. And at times I realize some WhatsApp groups, they end up, many people, end
Go
up
off track.
Exactly, they go off track. Here and there, you'll be seeing stickers flying in, people entering others' DMs, trying to carry a conversation that was supposed to be dealt with within that group, and then dealt with, in a personal thing, or people creating camps right from a major WhatsApp group. I think, if put into good effect, the WhatsApp group could do. But it goes back to what Chirabo mentioned earlier. It is one of the substitutes as to why people don't even greet their neighbors, the phone itself.
I think for me, why I would go in for a WhatsApp group is reason that today many people spend more time on this gadget than anything. Actually, the phone has substituted humans like never before. Am I deceiving? This gadget you see has become a substitute to people's mothers, to people's fathers, to people's wives. You visit a home, the husband is somewhere on phone, but they're in the same house. The wife somewhere busy on her phone, the children, each one is having a tab, and they come from school, do a few things, each one gets on their tab. So this gadget then, it is better and easier for you to trap and get hold of your neighbors. However, every WhatsApp group, Sonko talked about having very many WhatsApp groups. But you see, life is about choosing priorities. And how do you make priorities? A WhatsApp group of your neighbors, you can decide that this is among the priority groups in my phone. Have regulations. Sometimes I've learned that the foundation of anything matters very, very much. When you were forming this WhatsApp group, how did you come up with regulations that are going to govern these WhatsApp groups? There are WhatsApp groups where anything can pop in, and you're not shocked. There are those that strictly are focused. They're about our neighbors, they're about how are you, welcome back. I didn't see your car yesterday,
Is everything fine?
Is everything fine? At night I had like someone was yelling, who is that? Sometimes you even discuss issues of the landlord and all that. So a WhatsApp group is one of the ways, yes, that I support, because today many people, the phone has been a substitute to many things. So it's a way of trapping them there.
Great, thank you. We do have a comment coming in from Wesigwa Godwin. Knowing your neighbors can be quite important. It fosters a sense of community, promotes safety, and provides opportunities for support and social interaction. Plus, having good relationships with your neighbors can make living at home more enjoyable and peaceful. To a certain degree, I agree with Mwesigwa, because we've seen cases where when you are in a community, everything seems to be moving a lot better. You get some help at the end of the day. Now, the unfortunate bit, or the fortunate bit, is that we have come to the end of this conversation, and in a few minutes we're going to be having an interaction between Jerome Paul Sonko and I'm looking forward to this conversation because, first of all, I am a dog lover. So if you're a dog lover and you would love to know, you'd love to learn more, this is the conversation that you should be part of. But also, we shall be having Blessed Davis, who is a gospel artist, and the band is already here in the studio. We'll be having that also coming your way shortly, shortly after the conversation between Jerome Paul Sonko and Abraham, as we talk about how to breed dogs, how to train them, and all that. I'm looking forward to the conversation. But for now, thank you for discussing with us. Thank you for being a part of this segment. Coming up is Jerome Paul. Stay with us.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwao.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Take a priority loan of 200 to stock my shop. The signs of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Previously, in most of these areas that we had prioritized, farmers would produce, but you don't access market because the roads are not there. So you have the middlemen that would have access and they persevere to go into those deep in the villages and they buy with their own prices. They'll go there and set prices for you, and yet you're the ones who are producing this food. But now this time with the market linkages, people can now access market because we have bridges that were, streams that were bottlenecks to access by the farmers. It has constructed bridges, so farmers can now reach market.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
During my childhood, at around 7, 8 years old, I used to see dogs. I grew up with dogs, but the Toyota breed of African dogs, that one without a name, I don't know how it's even called, whereby you could easily see one from the street, pick it, go home and protect it. Then it becomes yours. It could stay with you for close to 10 years or 8 to 10 years. And you know, with the Toyota breed of dogs that we have in Africa here for us, you can easily give it anything. Sweet potatoes, posho, mokene, and the like. But well, with the evolution of dog trainers in Uganda, dog experts, we've seen some new breeds of dogs. You've heard of, you know, the so-called German Shepherds. You hear something called Jack Russell. There are quite a number of names here. If Chiraba was on set this morning, you would be hearing names that you don't even understand. But now, we do have Mr. Alinange Abraham, who is joining us in studio. And he has a special present for you, our dear viewer, especially those who love keeping pets. And those who love keeping pets, especially the dogs. The people who are pet lovers, but majorly look out for cats and the like. But Abraham is in studio. He's a dog trainer and someone who you can easily access to ask anything about keeping a dog if you need one with you. Good morning, sir. Many thanks for joining us.
Morning. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm seeing a very lovely dog here in studio. I hope my viewer can easily see one now. First of all, as a dog trainer, what do you do in general?
Let me begin by talking about myself. I'm Alinang Abraham from Dog Walk Events.
Okay.
And I work as a dog trainer. Yeah.
Okay. Dog Walk Events. Why do we have a walk on the dog events? I need to understand where the walk comes from. Do you train dogs to only walk by or something like dogs that stay indoor?
No, we began up as Dog Walk Events. We began up, we joined ourselves, then we created up something new to walk our dogs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. As a dog trainer, one would wonder, do you only, do you train dogs how to relate with their bosses or their owners, or it goes more beyond the communication bit?
It goes more beyond, and we train everything according to a dog. You know, dogs are so intelligent and they perform multiple tasks.
Okay.
So we do train everything, and as you're going to be seeing, and we would like to sensitize people about dogs.
Okay.
And another thing that we would like to do more about dogs, we want you people to know what dogs can do, or how are you supposed to treat them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was mentioning a few, dog breeds and dog types. I only know German Shepherd. Now today I've known that this is a Jack Russell.
Yeah.
I almost say the Frisian. I don't know if that ever exists.
No, it's a Russell.
Okay. Briefly tell my viewer, how many, some of the most common dog types that we have in Uganda?
Mostly we have the German Shepherd, and the Malinois, the Maltese, these so-called house dogs. Yeah, there are many breeds, but the common ones are the Jack Russells and the Shepherds, Malteses. Yeah.
Okay, and how do we call this African breed of ours? The one we refer to as Toyota.
Toyota, sometimes we call it Basenji.
Okay.
Yeah.
There was a local name Chirabo used last time to identify a certain breed of a dog.
Yeah.
I will ask him when I'm done on air. It's something like Kakwisi. Is it Kakwisi something?
Yeah, Kakwisi is like, let me see, it's like an AKA word that we use to identify.
Also known as, to identify maybe a certain breed of a dog?
Yes, like a nickname. Yeah.
What is so unique about the Jack Russell that the viewer should know?
The Jack Russells don't eat a lot. They are intelligent, they are fast, they are good at hunting.
Okay.
They are good also at guarding, and they are good at hunting.
Okay.
Also.
Okay.
Yeah, if you have this dog, you will never have snakes, rats in the house.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, Abraham is here and he's going to give us some training on how to deal with a Jack Russell, because it's the current specimen that we do have in studio this morning. So for the dog lovers out there, just sit back and see how he does his thing. and then pretty much know how to deal with such a dog. But just before I go, I need to also understand, in case a dog is actually how can you tell that a dog is sick? Because at times there's some sicknesses that you may never find out, because some of the dog lovers are only, good at feeding them every other day. How would you know that this dog has issues with its health?
So you can get to know that the dog has issues when it's no longer active. The eyes tell.
Okay.
They bring, and it's like they get sometimes the sunken stool.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how you can get to know.
All right.
Yeah.
And now with Abraham in studio, I'm going to leave him on set this morning for the next few minutes so that he can show us how he normally, chills with these dogs. What is special about the Jack Russell? And if at all you own one, how can you deal with it? So let's leave everything with Abraham right now.
We go out, sit, down, sit, down, sit, stand, sit, spin, 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 sit, turn, 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 sit, down, reverse, 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 here, heel, back with, back with, back with, back with, back with, ring, 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 here, look back, look, back, back, look back, down, roll, roll, good dog, roll, 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 good dog, roll, roll, sit, speak, 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 down, reverse, reverse, pretty, tall, torture, 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 tall back, tall back, tall back, here, heel, heel, between, 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 back, back, legs, behind, legs, right, back with, look back, 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 spider, spider, spider move, spider move, spider move, spider move, spider move, spider move, down, down, stay, top, top, dog, spin, 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 frigo, pretty, 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 good dog, off, spin, 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 sit, 1, yes, 2, yes, 3, yes, 4, yes, 5, yes, go, down, down, come, spin, 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 legs, legs, back, 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 spider, back, back, spider, back, back, Spider. Good dog. Spider move. 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 Off. Sit. Go touch. Good dog. Off. Touch. Here. Sit. Bounce. Good dog. Bounce. Bounce. Good dog. Bounce. 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 Skip. Skip. Back. 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 Down. Come. Spin. 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 Speak. Speak. Down. Roll. 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 Legs. Heel. Heel. Between. Between. Front. Sit. Stay. Bring my rope. Here. Bring. Out. 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 Good boy. Here, come. Here, come here. Free go. Skip. Good boy. Skip. 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 Back. Back. Down. Stay. No. You have a paper? Okay, have one here. I want you to differentiate paper and money. Okay. Search, bring me money. Yes, good boy. Come. Here. Out. Come. Out. 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 No. Out. Yes. Go touch. Touch here. No. Touch. Come. Here. Free go. Here. Free go. Heel. Heel. Search. Yes, good dog. Show me. Show me. Good dog. Yes, good dog. Good dog. Out. Out. Search. Bring. Show me. Show me. Good dog. Out. Stay. Come here. Touch. Oh, I'm done.
There's a saying in Luganda, and the semanyina sekoje zivudde. But anyways, is this the only dog that can do this?
No, any breed can.
Oh, any breed can.
Yeah.
How long does it take, if at all someone wants to train their dog, to actually, do all of what this particular Jack Russell has been doing this morning?
If it's all about, we do train these dogs according to what you want to train it.
Okay.
And we begin it at a certain age according to what you want to train it.
Oh, okay. How old is this dog?
It's 1 year now.
1 year?
Yeah.
How far or how huge can it grow?
It stops there. That's why, Raptorial Russells, they are small and tiny.
Okay.
Yeah, they
So
weigh
it stays
5
there.
to 3 kgs.
And in your estimate, how long can it stay on Earth?
For the short breeds, or a dog that isn't heavy or big,
okay,
it can stay for 18 years to 15.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is if you're feeding well and
treating it very well, taking care of it.
Okay. I do have fanatics of dogs, and I will tell you, for those of you who love keeping pets, you would want to have something like this with you at home. And maybe I'll now try to start rethinking options of either keeping a Jack Russell or going in for another breed of the like. But I hope you've enjoyed the pet show this morning. Coming up, we have more performances, by the way, but this time round we want to test your vocal abilities and make sure that you stand up and dance with us, because it's Friday. And Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, what we do here is making sure that we entertain you. But before the entertainment comes in, we shall be having Chantal Oliver Kaninda give you some spiced up weekend, giving you some movies to look out for, so that you can easily, have your Friday lit up, Saturday lit up, and Sunday, so to speak. Many thanks for joining us this Friday, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. All right. Now, stick around to Good Morning Uganda Friday edition, because we are returning shortly with Chantal Oliver Kaninda. She has movie updates, movie reviews. Stick around. Good morning.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko pamoja?
Amaina gange ndetubona Kiranda Amina mu company Air Web Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga mu bakyala oba mu bantu abaaki aba Uganda.
Live from UPC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
I don't know, I feel a certain sense of happiness, maybe because I love dogs. But if you want to reach out to him, you can check out Dog Entity on Instagram and Facebook, but also you can reach out to Abraham, the dog trainer, on TikTok, and you'll be able to get him. He's a vet doctor as well, so he's a vet doctor, trainer, so in case you need any of those services, he is the person that you can reach out to, and you'll be getting all the assistance that you would be looking for. And also we are crossing over into our entertainment this morning, making sure that you have something that you can watch for the weekend in case you decide to. If you are the ones that have the weekends off, then and you might want to just stay in Netflix and chill, you stay in movie and chill. The Sonkos who invite people's daughters to come and watch movies. The recommendations this very morning. And the first one is Love Divided. Now, this is a 2024 Spanish romantic comedy film directed by Patricia Font and written by Marta Sanchez, starring Aitana Oshena and Fernando Guerra. It is a remake of the 2015 French film Blind Date, based on an original story by Lilou Fogel or Forley. And upon moving to a new apartment, pianist Valentina clashes with her next door neighbor and game developer David, as she makes too much noise and reclusive and sullen. David requires silence for his work, but they will find a compromise and love will find its way. Take a look at the trailer.
Isn't it cool? Great location and cheap.
What's new? There is something new. Next door. A new tenant. They won't even last a day, as usual.
Hi. Shh. Who's there?
I'm your neighbor. There's a major lack of insulation between these two apartments. One of us will have to leave.
No, I'm not leaving.
Challenge accepted. Neighbor.
That explains the cheap rent. That is suspect.
I'm not very good with people. Talking with someone through a wall, it's nice, right?
Yes.
Tallish, brown hair.
Eyes?
Blue.
He's different, right?
Very different. A toast?
Are you at home?
No. I'm in yours.
Explain.
I kind of met someone.
Where is she? You have a lovely voice. I'm hoping to hear your song.
Love Divided is the movie. I still think and insist this is a movie Sonko would love to watch, and I highly recommend that he doesn't watch it on his own. But according to the cast, we have Aitana as Valentina, we have Fernando Guerra as David, we have Natalia Rodriguez, we have Adam, we have Paco Tuos, we have Miguel Angel Munoz, and the production originally known under the working title Tras Le Okay. I think I need to have a conversation with my producer on some of these words, because today's lineup seems to have very complicated words. But Love Divided was released on Netflix on 12th April 2024, so still fresh. You can check it out this weekend just in case you haven't. Then the next recommendation is Stolen. Stolen is a Swedish drama film directed by Eli Maha-Eira, and in her feature directorial debut. Based on the 2021 novel of the same name by Anne Helen, it was released on Netflix as well on the 12th of April 2024. Now, according to the premise, a 9-year-old Elsa, a Sami girl, witnesses her reindeer being poached and is frightened into silence. 10 years later, she vows revenge against the poacher. And look at the trailer if you are interested. I would think it is a movie that is worth giving some time this weekend.
I don't think I understand. Why would the Sami kill their own reindeer?
Now I'm going to say something. Don't do it.
For each and every reindeer that's killed.
I have to.
Remember what my dad said. Don't do it.
I don't care. I can tell you why they're killing our reindeer.
Yeah, tell me.
They kill our reindeer because they hate us. They want to hit us where it hurts the most. In our town, they've been shooting reindeer for 20 years, at least. And the police do nothing about it. We have over 100 copies of police reports in our garage.
Do you know why they don't act?
Because a lot of people want to get rid of us.
Didn't we agree that I should handle all the contact with the media in our village?
We don't have any contact with the media, though. That's the problem. How else will people know what's going on here?
You should know that ever since this interview of yours was published, I have already received 3 death threats. That's what happens when you talk to the media.
So you're saying that that is my fault?
I don't think I understand. Why would the Sami kill their own reindeer?
It would be something to look out for this weekend. Now, the next recommendation, like I said, this one is going to indeed have me have a conversation with a gentleman called Kausi Julius. And Lo Ki-wan is a North Korean defector. He has arrived in the unfamiliar country of Belgium from North Korea because of his mother, Ok. He wants to settle down in the country, but his only hope for him to stay is to receive refugee status from the Belgian government. And he fights to get that. Lo Ki-wan then meets Marie. She used to be a Korean, but she has now received Belgian citizenship. In the past, she was a shooter. Unlike Lo Ki-wan, who came to Belgium to live a new life, Marie doesn't have a reason to leave. They have an unpleasant first meeting, but fall in love with each other also, and that is pretty much Lo Ki-wan now. Just to give you some of the people in this movie, or the cast in this movie. Some of these names you've heard and some of these faces you have seen. You probably don't know the names, but we have Song Joong-ki, who acts as Lo Ki-wan, and that is the main character. We have Choi Sung-eun, who is Marie. We have Jo Han-chul, who is Yo Song, and these are people that you have seen in these Korean movies. But the interesting bit is most of these people almost look alike, so you may see them today and tomorrow they look like someone else. Then we also have Kim Sung-rung, who is Oki, that is Ki-wan's mother. We have Lee Hwa, who is Jo Ju, and then we have Lee Sang-hae, who is who is Seon-ju, and this is a support role. Now, that is the cast in Lo Ki-wan. Take a look at the trailer. I believe it is a movie personally I'd love to watch because I'm a big fan of Korean movies. Take a look.
지금 난민 심사 진행 중이라고 들었는데.
원래는 2달 정도 더 기다려야 되는데.
객하면 저 그때까지 옥하고 지내야 되는 거.
잘 버티셔야죠.
쥐가 먹혔으면
기억 안 나.
네가 도적질한 그 돈 우리 어머니 죽은 몸뚱이 팔아서 받은 돈이다 그 말이다.
너도 앞으로 겨울이 더 춥겠다. 우리 엄마도 겨울에 가셨는데.
내 딸 위태로운 아이입니다. 단단한 사람이 필요해요. 그쪽처럼 똑같이 위태로운 사람 말고.
Il renvoyé. C'est le condamné à mort.
이런 내가 행복해질 자격이 있는 거가.
We have Lo Ki-wan, we have Stolen, and we also have Love Divided. And that is literally what we could get for you to be able to watch. The freshest that we could find, because they were all released on the 12th of April 2024. So this weekend, you are literally sorted. Otherwise, interact with your neighbors as well. Also, check on your friends and family. I mean, you can't afford to do one thing over the weekend. Now, at this moment, we'll be crossing over to the sports highlights, and Jerome Paul Sonko with Ruben are already in Studio B. And Sonko, You are here interacting with Abraham when it comes to the dogs and how they are taken care of. I would love for you to find out from Mr. Chibirango. The last I checked, he's not very accommodative of pets, especially the dogs. I would love to know, after seeing today's experience and how Abraham handles the dogs, how has his mind changed, or has his perspective been at least switched a little bit?
Scheme, by the way, I'm going to ask you the same question. You have a type of a car you want to drive. If you saw, let's say, the brand new model of a Passo, would you go for a Passo?
No.
Let me ask Ruben Pima for you now. I hope you get your answer. Ruben, good morning.
I'm hoping.
Good morning. How are you today?
Chantal has a question. She's concerned because the last time she checked in, you aren't a dog.
We'll wait for international and the press review in a few minutes as well.
Well, let's begin with His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, who officiated at the opening of new offices for some courts in Uganda. Now, President Yoweri Museveni tasked Ugandans to prioritize on issues that foster value addition rather than handle multiple issues with no results. Museveni said this is doing so much as seen Uganda entering the lower middle income status. This was during the commissioning of the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal buildings in Kampala. For over 57 years, the judiciary has been struggling to have a home for the applicant court and the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal. In 1999, the idea of constructing these courts was unveiled. However, it remained shelved until 2014, when it was approved by the judiciary top management and construction kicked off in 2019. 5 years later, the Supreme Court and Court of Appeal buildings were commissioned on a budget of 110 billion shillings with an aim of bringing services closer to people, as the Permanent Secretary to the Judiciary, Pius Bigirimana, noted. President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni commissioned these buildings at the Judiciary headquarters in Kampala, where officials from the Executive, Judiciary and Parliament, plus development partners were in attendance. Museveni commended the Judiciary on this milestone, attributing it to patience and planning by the NRM government. Still on the local scene, the Vice President of Uganda, retired Major Jessica Alupo, she is optimistic and confident that the country has the capacity to eliminate malaria by 2030 through numerous interventions put in place by scientists in the country. Alupo revealed that government has included malaria as a cross-cutting issue and the budget call circular for 2024-2025. She stressed the need for special budget for malaria if it is to be eradicated by 2030. Uganda continues to grapple with the burden of malaria epidemic despite all interventions put in place. It is for this reason that the Ministry of Health has organized a scientific conference on malaria to forge a way of how we can kick and track malaria diseases. Vice President officiated at the scientific meeting on malaria and reassured scientists and the general public that government is committed to the fight against malaria by adjusting the budget. The Permanent Secretary at the Ministry of Health, Dr. Diana Atwine, called for a change and a new approach in tracking malaria in the country, since there is no single bullet that can wipe out malaria. Now moving to matters of the census. The Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris Mukiza, has warned anybody planning to sabotage the upcoming National Population and Housing Census. He said politicians or religious leaders who discourage people from participating will face the courts of law. Dr. Mukiza made the remarks while meeting the religious leaders across the country at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala. It was a heated decision between the religious leaders and Uganda Bureau of Statistics at Sheraton Hotel in Kampala over the role of religious leaders in the forthcoming national population and housing census. During the meeting, a section of born-again faith criticized WUBOS for not considering them as a religion. All their questions for census and nature of questions asked when it comes to religion. The same issues were also raised by the Baptist Union of Uganda, who complimented of being eliminated from the questionnaire as a religion. However, the Executive Director, Uganda Bureau of Statistics, Dr. Chris, warned anybody planning to sabotage the upcoming census that they will face the courts of law. The chairman for Interreligious Council of Uganda, the Archbishop of the Church of Uganda, Dr. Stephen Kazimba, urged fellow leaders to embrace census and mobilize the populace to participate. And finally, from the local scene, the Minister for Finance, Matia Kasaija, has urged traders to calm down, proposing that after meeting the President on Friday, there is hope that a solution will be found on issues of implementation of the IFRIS system. While meeting a combined committee, one of the finance and that of the traders leadership and the Ministry from Trade, Kasaija said issues like IFRIS system are matters of policy and will require processes of law. The Committee of Finance and that of Trade engaged in a long meeting and later all agreed that the Traders Association on issues of electronic physical receipting and invoicing as ruled by the Speaker of Parliament, Anita Amongi, when she referred the matter to these committees on 9th April. The meeting was, however, suspended as members refused to proceed with the Minister for Finance, Honorable Matia Kasaija. The committee members argued to first give representatives of traders an opportunity to present their petition, but MPs guided to have their concerns presented at once. The leadership of the United Arcades Traders Entrepreneurs Association suggested that URA takes back the system for better packaging, while that one of Kasita that the system to be implemented from factories rather than at the traders' shops.
Well, that's it for our local stories. Let's cross over to the international scene, and we start off with India, which is expected to start its voting process today in what we call the world's largest election, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi seeks a historic third term in office on the backdrop of growth, welfare, his personal popularity, and Hindu nationalism. The vote pits Modi's Bharatiya Janata Party against an alliance of 24 opposition parties, which is challenging him with promises of increased affirmative action, more handouts, and what they say is the need to save democratic institutions from Modi's dictatorial rule. The gigantic exercise, involving almost 1 billion voters, will be spread over 7 phases across the world's most populous country at the peak of summer. It ends on 1st June and
such as inspirational profiles.
Having a disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
You say that I blow his mind every time I'm activated. You just trying to catch a vibe. CC got you fascinated. Jump up on the brand new ride. BMW riding, baby. I ain't gonna tell you lies. That's just how
we run one of the biggest live audience TV shows in the land. Now this involves a lot of prep, a reliable team of professionals. A stylist.
Everything for this life got balance. Evidently more gallant. Happiness deep inside of me and nothing fit to steal. If my job life, no job. To the people that go talk. And I need your validation. Steady on my way to the top. So I pull up like a boss.
The artists.
Tekina tekikujjako obufukamira n'omwami w'ekyokunywa.
Bwe tuba nga bye tukola bibanyumira, you are welcome. Bwe bata bibanyumira, we are also doing our own thing. Thank you.
Nze omuntu gwenjagala temujja mumanya paka wanaakola ennyo ave mu gallery.
And so much more. We are Horizon Vibe, and there is no vibe like Horizon Vibe. Catch the latest in music, interviews, performances, and so much more every Saturday with me, Calvin the Entertainer, from 10 a.m. on this channel.
Nyati Motion Pictures brings you Tuko Pamoja, a documentary film about our unity as Ugandans and Africans.
Bunyoro would have simply created an East African community that we are looking for today.
The rulers of Bunyoro are actually Luos.
We people who live across the Nile, we are so related from our myth or from just the Nile.
We are the same people, and genetically we are even the same people.
We are similar people.
We are one.
Pamoja, we are one.
Use that word, pamoja.
Premiering every week from 3rd February to June 2024 at the National Theatre and Indere Center. Daily screenings are from 4th February to June 2024 at Ham Cinemax and the National Theatre. To get a ticket, call 0778 787 660. Tuko Pamoja?
Juko. Yo. Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the Parish Development Model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sevatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief, and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government, designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Amina gange ndetubona Kiranda Amina mu company eya WIB Uganda Limited ndi member. Wemba member company eno weyeida twalinga tutuli bulungi ng'abakyala abe wakawaka. Ng'abakyala abe wakawaka tuwemera kuba ami baife nga bonkana abajamu nandanga twidi nti abakyala tebakozesa ki nanda. UN Women weyeida yatuteekateeka yatwegesa okulunda engege ng'abakyala. Twatandika beno okudulunda n'okudirisa n'okolaki. Twafunamu ng'abakyala aba Bugiri district. Abakyala ba Bugiri district sofa tuli abakyala 14 abakola project eya WIB. Abakyala 14 twayawula mu sectors. Mulimu abakyala ba production, abaliisa, mwaba abakyala ba validation, abongera engege omutindo bayongerako omutindo. Twaba n'abakyala ba harvesting, aba harvestinga. Twaba n'abakyala abakola aba marketing. Sector donna diri trained era didi kyedikola ki kyedikola. Project eno tufunyemu ng'abakyala. Government yaife ne ya Uganda njebaza. Okujja kujanga batulingirira mu ng'abakyala abana Uganda. Eri kujanga etulobingira ebibiina bingi. We have UWEB, baleta parish development model. We have Myoga. Byonna biri kwida muki mu bakyala oba mu bantu abaki aba Uganda.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
I've seen a number of community members out there that have formed themselves into groups and have identified enterprises, agricultural enterprises, rice and all that, and they've actually been successfully cultivating them. They've gone ahead, the project has gone ahead and also introduced small-scale industries like the rice huller, the grinding mills and all that are managed by the groups. All these are successes.
Nkwanga Ramazan is my name, the head teacher of this great school, Ikumbia Seed Secondary School. The school has the staff room well furnished, administration well furnished, the computer lab well furnished, the library wonderful, the multipurpose hall well furnished. The teachers are also enjoying in the staff quarters. The school has teachers totaling to 28. Ikumbia Seed has embraced the new curriculum. I want to thank the government for that bright idea. There are many students that end up in senior 4 with no document. But with the coming of the IT, the skilled children are going to have certificates in skills as early as senior 3. And that certificate is equivalent to a senior 4 certificate. Ikumbia Seed Secondary School is a very great school that has influenced the lives of people or changed the lives of people of Ikumbia sub-county. I want to thank the parents and the government for this kind of input.
UBC is the national public broadcaster. We educate, inform, entertain, and inspire our audiences. You can watch us on free-to-air channel 001, DSTV channel 282, GoTV channel 371, Star Times channel 201, Zuku TV channel 20, and Azam TV channel 350. Even when your subscription expires, you can still watch UBC for free on your pay TV platforms.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Ladies and men, you are still watching Good Morning Uganda Friday. And you know how we do it every single Friday, making sure, one, you are toned down from the stress of the week, but also launched into the weekend in the best way possible. I am here with Blessed Davis, and he's going to be, I had the drums earlier, and I was already starting to move. Yeah? So let's see how Davis is doing. He's already here with a whole band. So please brace yourself for a very good start into the weekend. And Davis.
Yes, please.
How are you today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I am very well. We know you as Blessed Davis.
Yeah.
How do we know the band?
Actually, this beautiful band you're seeing right here is called the LT Band. And if you don't mind, allow me to introduce everybody on each instrument. We have Jeremiah on the solo guitar. We have Mark on the drums. We have my brother, Jose, on the lead keyboard. Then we have Eddie Mon on the second keys. We have Herbert on the bass guitar. And then my backup, I have Mr. Joshua and Mr. David. LT Band.
Do we get LT Band? If I'm looking for LT Band to plan, which events do you play at?
We play actually, mostly we deal with born again events.
Okay.
Yeah, that's it. But we can also play on weddings as the LT Band. So if you want to get the LT Band, you can contact me on my digits, which is 074 10 27 447.
10 27
074 10 27 447.
Great. And are you on social media?
Yeah. I personally, as Blessed Davis, I'm on social media.
What about the band?
And yeah, the band too.
LT Band as well.
Yeah.
So on which platforms can we find you?
You get us on LT Events Crew. Yeah, that is LT Events as LT Events Band. Then as I as Blessed Davis, you get me on Blessed Davis Official.
Okay. And do we have anything that is coming up from you or from the band? Maybe a performance, maybe a concert that we should be looking out for?
Yeah, actually we have something that is on table as per now,
okay,
that we are bringing out on the 12th of May. And we are coming up with a concert that has been named as Friends of Blessed Davis. It is going to be held at Christian Life Church Nambole Auditorium in Chireku Boyogerere. Yeah, so it's going to be held on the 12th of May, starting at 2 p.m. It will be a Sunday. So we have ordinary 10K, VIP 30K, VVIP 50K, gold table 200K, and then platinum table 500K.
Okay, so we are looking forward to how that is going to play out. That is on the 12th of May.
12th of May, yeah.
12th of May 2024. Well, I don't think I'm going to be here for so long. I am likely to leave you to it because we are expecting, or we are hopeful, and we are looking forward to the performance this very morning. It's just a few minutes to 9, and usually, you know what happens on Friday. By this time, we are signing out and letting you know that our weekend has started for us here on Good Morning Uganda, and leaving you with the team that usually ushers you further into the weekend, and I think I'm going to be doing that. Do you have anything to say to our viewers this morning, Davis?
Actually, the only thing I have to say to our viewers this morning that are viewing Good Morning Uganda show, I just want to thank everybody that has tuned in. And all I can say is that stay tuned because we're going to give you the best.
Great.
In Jesus' mighty name. We believe that we're going to bless your life.
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Davis. Now, to you, our dearest viewer, you've been a good viewer from the start of the week, 6:30 in the morning till the hour of 9 a.m. We have been here, and we are also going to be here next week. And we're also hopeful that Olive Monica will be joining us on Monday next week. But as for now, the weekend has started. Me who went to school and studied properly, my work is done. I wish you a wonderful weekend. I'll catch you on Monday. Have a wonderful day. Over to you, Davis.
Come on, everybody, just lift up your hands and start worshiping the name of the Lord. Father, we bless your name. Oh God, oh God, oh God. Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yahweh, Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yahweh, sing Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, sing Yahweh, sing Adonai, oh, El Shaddai, Elohim, oh Yahweh, 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 sing Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, sing Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Everybody, you move the unmovable, you stop the unstoppable, hey, you raise the unraisable, God. Everybody sing and say, you move the unmovable, you stop the unstoppable, you raise the unraisable. Oh, everybody sing and say, you move the unmovable. Hey, you stop. Oh God, you raise, you raise, you raise. That's why we sing, you are mighty. Hey, you are worthy, you are able, you are glorious, you are mighty, Yahweh. Oh, everybody sing, you are mighty, you are worthy, you are able, you are glorious, you are mighty. Ah, come on, everybody, lift your voice and say, you are mighty, you are worthy, you are able, you are glorious, you are mighty. Oh, beginning of the end, oh, Yeshua, my provider. What is your name? Beginning of the end, oh, Yeshua, my provider. What is your name? Beginning of the end, oh, Yeshua, my provider. Oh, everybody lift your voice. Beginning of the end. Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yahweh, Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim,
El Shaddai. Sing Elohim. You are Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. Sing Adonai. El Shaddai, El Shaddai. Elohim. Sing Yahweh, 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 Yahweh. Everybody sing and say, you move the unmovable. You store the unstoppable. You raise, God is raise. Everybody sing and say, you move the unmovable. Oh God, you store, you do something, the unraisable. Everybody say, you move the unstoppable. Oh God, oh God, the unstoppable. You raise, God, you raise. Beginning of the Yeshua, my prophet. Wadi, you are Yeshua, you are Yeshua, you are Yeshua. Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yahweh, Adonai, El Shaddai, Elohim, Yahweh. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. God, we bless your name. God, we bless your name. Are you ready? Come on, come on, come on. God, we bless your name. God, we bless your name. Na, 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 na. God, we bless your name. God, we bless your name. God, we bless your name. Inibula muwanja gala kochi. Sayo tenalina ni mubitomi. Yababocha yo because of me. Tata wanda go mukwano. Inibula muwanja gala kochi. Sayo tenalina ni mubitomi. Yababocha yo because of me. Tata wanda go mukwano. Inibula muwanja gala kochi. Zenze. Nari mubitomi. Yababocha yo. Watayo, watayo. Inibula muye. Wanja gala kochi. Zenze. Nari mubitomi. Because of me. Inibula muye. Wanja gala kochi. Zenze. Ay, 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 ay. Run it, run it. Sari sani naza nini zavyo lavo. Sayo tenari nari na kwewa ladadi. Yababocha yo because of me. You showed my kind of love I never seen before, my God. You showed my kind of love I never seen before, Daddy. Magamba tichizimu wakwagala omuntu na yoyo tata ya jagala. Chiza ya kulona na yekwe ya nona, you made me a friend. Nani badena fana 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 na yemu fana bange yata. Nanda go mupano, you showed me love in a balance. Hey hey, na 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 hey. Wajagala kochi hey. Hey hey, hey hey hey. Wajagala kochi hey. Nani kubitomi hey. Because of me. Ay, 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 ay. Come on, come on. Ay, ay, ay. there somebody that died and ran so much? Waliwo Katonda gy'atujje gwe. Nali mukizikiza gwe yafuuka ettala. Mu maaso g'ennyanja wafuuka olutindo nsomoke. Aha, nyini bulamu, nyini bulamu, nyini bulamu, nyini bulamu, nyini bulamu, nyini bulamu. You proved your love for me, oh yeah, Musai. You proved your love for me, confident ku musalaba. No matter lava miss, mukwano gwo kufa gwewone. Natwala embala y'omwoyo amala ebitiibwa. Seyo kye nali mu kibi nga nakuvaako laba bw'ojjayo n'onnonayo iso. Seyo kye nali mu kibi nga nakuvaako n'onnonayo. One more time, one more time. Seyo kye nali mu kibi nga nakuvaako laba bw'ojjayo n'onnonayo. Nyini bulamu wanjagalako ki? Seyo kye nali. Because of me. Wanjagalako ki? Nali mu bitobi. Nyini bulamu, yeah, yeah. Wanjagalako ki? I believe in God, oh. He's not gonna fail in battle. I do believe in God Almighty. He's not gonna fail in battle, no, no. I believe in God Almighty. He's not gonna fail, not gonna fail. I do believe in God Almighty. He's not gonna fail, not gonna fail. Buli mitego gyategaateka omulabe Katonda yakimenya. Nga buli busale babwesa okunwanyisa. Almighty nga bufuula muyonga. No intimidation. Nebuze tojja kuka. Nina omulwanyi wa ddala yebalwana wangula. Cause he's the mighty man who fuuka tomulabe tutaka. As believers we raise. Failure is not a portion. No, no, no. Okulemererwa obwesibuka buba. I believe in God. Oh. He's no go fail, no go fail. I don't believe in God Almighty. He's no go fail, no go fail. I believe in God Almighty. He's no go fail, no go fail. Babiriba Jemuliel, Babiriba Muliwa, Babiriba Jemuliel, Babiriba Bariwa, yeah. I can see the local and it's only worse. I don't know. The weapon is fashioned against me. That is gonna prosper to us. In Obulan, you are my me. I am Mumiba, Karauna Magari Gamajegi Nazikisa. We never big no Turuma, nobody has a Katona Yakana Suta. There was a Nebuchadnezzar, and Akuba Matinamo Fayakana to Yama. Katikwalumba Biriba, Ulabula Yamupola Feturin and Defina. Nani, Tikwalumba Biriba, Ulabula Yamupola Feturin and Defina. I believe in God. He's not a fella, no go fella. I don't believe in God Almighty. He's not gonna fail, not gonna fail. Babiriba Jemuliel, Jemuliel Babiriba. Thank you so much for watching Good Morning Uganda. Daddy Bissimula, the Daddy nebyo n'obiwangula kati pulani z'okubanza zengoberera ebikisa ne victory ne binneyongera nawasinga nyosokumanga katonda ayusuwina kabanaye amazinga from the day that he reigned in me obulamu bwange mukama yabukyusa all the past he became trust then he wrote a new story about me I just wanna say thank you Lord I just wanna say thank you Lord I have the weather Lord that's not here I have the weather Lord that's not here let me get it yakora meri today let me get it because I'm coming mulyoyomi kubakimanyi God yola yesu atukuza notamanyi detergent ebintu byakola tuwera mwandalas abaali babulaya bayo natusembeza ate abakoye yabayo naba katinde kanze negazanyi mu nyumba ye kumanda bandi mwana mukisa gwe tegulina buyenike nonononono one more time katinde kanze negazanyi mu nyumba ye kumanda bandi mwana mukisa gwe tegulina buyenike nonononono I am the weather that is not here. Ayaya. Ebirengeri byakona meritiwe. Ayaya. Ebirengeri byakona meritiwe. Yeye. Yagaranja. Ebirengeri byabikoze mukama. It wasn't my plan, it wasn't my mind. Ayaya. It wasn't my plan, it wasn't my will. Wachusa, Ronyamba said, she's out of the room. What a money, God, you love me. Ah, what a God we serve. Ah, Katinde Kazane Gazani, Monyumba Yakuranda Bani Mwana, Mukisa Weteguri Nabu Yinike. Katinde Kazane Gazani, Monyumba Yakuranda Bani Mwana. Mukisa Weteguri Nabu Yinike. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Ay, ay, ay. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Igwe has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Come on, somebody celebrate. What he promised to do and he caused it to do. My sister, you don't need to worry. You don't need to weep. The day is coming. The day is coming. The day is coming. As you say, he has done it all. He has done it all. He has done it all. Yeah.
Topic of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday, 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain